Hello again, and welcome back to the Toolkit for Traders YouTube channel, where we give you the tools for trading success. And I'm really happy today to bring you the first, I hope, of many free tools for your trading. This one specifically for MT4, and it's the Ichimoku Kinko Expert Advisor. It's a bit of a classic, but I've seen it work in reading around what other people have done and also my own experience. So I'm excited to bring you a classic, a traditional, a bit of a beast in the world of trading for you to get your hands on. So in today's video, we're launching the Ichimoku MT4 EA. Now, I know, this is an EA that you could potentially get elsewhere, the standard version, but I've got some really cool features that I've put into this one that I really want you to take away, and I think you'll really enjoy playing with and hopefully making some profit with. So in today's video, we're going to cover a brief intro of the Ichimoku Kinko. I'm not going to go through that in detail. I'll point you to some direction of where you can get some more, because I really want to focus on the EA, not the actual indicator itself. I'm going to show you how to download this in EA for free, 100% for free on the Toolkit for Traders website. I'm going to show you how to get that onto your MT4 terminal, and then how you might do a very basic, very simple backtest. I'm going to do some proper backtesting videos in the future, but I'm not going to cover it all now. This is really about the EA, and that will come, but I'll show you very simply how you can do a basic backtest if you've never done that kind of thing before. And I will also show you some health warnings about trading with EAs, because you've got to understand the risks that you're up against. So what is the Ichimoku Kinko indicator? And it's an indicator that originated in Japan. It was made by a journalist who invented it around 1930 and then released it in about 1960. And I'm reliably informed by Wikipedia that the Japanese writing underneath there is the Japanese word for Ichimoku Kinko. So I'm just going to jump over to the charts now and show you how that looks on your MT4. So we are back now on my MT4 terminal. I've just got a basic chart off with as much removed off it as I can, because the Ichimoku indicator can get really busy. So I'm going to load this up onto my chart now. So I'm just going to insert indicators, and it is one of the standard ones that comes with your MT4 platform. It's under trend because it is a trend trading indicator, Ichimoku Kinko, and load it up. So it comes with standard parameters in 9, 26, 52, and obviously you can change the colors. Now I like to change the Kumo colors up to be green, to lime green, and down to be red, just because it makes more sense in my mind. So I'm going to click that and load it up, and you can see your chart immediately looks really busy. So basically, what have you got on here? So you've got these two. The first things to look at, and the primary ones to look at, are the two red and blue lines, which are the Tenkan Sen and the Kijun Sen. And it doesn't really matter what they are. They're basically moving averages based on a median price. Ichimoku is slightly different than most indicators in that they don't use the close price. It uses the median between the high and the low. So it has a slightly different look and feel about it. And you basically, with the red and blue line, you have a moving average crossover of sorts. So you can see they cross over here, they cross over here, and over here. And you can see sometimes, because they use the median price, they can sometimes run together, which is quite unusual for moving averages. You've also got on here what is called the Kumo cloud in red and green here. And this is based again on some other moving averages, which are slightly lagged, and some of them actually are actually projected in the future. We can see ahead of price here, it is projected in the future as a kind of up here, a potential uptrend and a resistance on the cloud here. And then lastly, which is often forgotten about, you've got the Chiku span, which is the current price projected back 26, in this instance 26 bars ago. And if I just put it onto line, you'll see that starts to make sense. You can see how the Chiku just follows is exactly the same pattern back 26 periods on the chart, and you can see back there, and that's just a basic momentum. You know, you're looking at, was price 26 bars ago higher or lower than it is now? If the price was lower than it is now, then we've got upwards momentum. If the price was higher than it is now, we've got downwards momentum. So that's the basis of it. Now, I'm not going to go through it. There's a really good video on the No Nonsense Forex YouTube channel, which I really recommend because he explains Ichimoku Kinko High really, really well. Probably better than me. So I'll put a link in the description for you to go there and have a look at that. But I'm not going to go through there because I just really want to focus right now on the EA. So the EA that you want from Toolkit for Traders is available on the Toolkit for Traders website. So I'll just go over now. If you go onto the Toolkit for Traders website, and you can see the homepage here, it's starting to look very nice. I've been spending a bit of time building this, so hopefully you like it. And if you go to the top, you can see a link for download. You click on the link for download, and just a note here, I'm already logged in, obviously, as myself. You will need to log yourself in here. That's just so you're part of the members. You can ask questions on the forum, particularly if you find bugs or anything like that. Really, really easy way to contact me on the forum, because there's a forum post for this on there, which is great. And also I can send you emails when new ones are coming out, and it helps me know who's coming. And the other thing is as well, you can agree to sort of the risk disclaimers and all that things before you download EAs and that kind of stuff. So do come on the website. It's totally free. There's nothing on here that's going to cost you any money. And I'm not doing anything with your data. It's just purely a place where you can come and talk to each other and get the indicators and EAs. So you come across to the download. You can see here I've got a lot of stuff planned, as in content coming up for the channel. So I'm going to sneak peek on here. I've got some dates. That's really to hold myself to account that I'm going to release this stuff on these dates. And you come down here, and when the day this video comes on, it's not released, it will say download on here. And if you click download on this one, it will say Ichimoku Kinko Ohio, and it will take you to this page here, which will have this video right now I'm recording in the middle, explaining how it works. And the key part here is the download button. So if you click the download button on there, it's going to download into a zip file the indicator, and in the future it will also download the MT5 as well. I've just not put that in the download just yet because I've not finished that one off. But if you really want the MT5, do let me know, put something in the comments, tell me to hurry up, and I may just have to sort it out faster. So I'm just going to extract that, and you can see I've got the .ex4 file. And what you need to do then is you need to put that into your data folder on your MT4 terminal. So if you go back to your MT4 terminal, click File and open the data folder, it will bring that up. And as I said in a previous video, it's quite difficult to find, and you can use shortcuts that make it a bit easier. Navigate into MQL4, then into your experts folder, and then if you go back to your downloads, and we can simply drag that across. Bro, so that's all you need to do, is drag that ex4 file. You can close that down now, and we want to view, and we want our navigator and our expert advisors. So we're going to refresh that, so it has the MT4 terminal will then check for any new files in its main folder, and you can see it's now found the Ichimoku EA. So drag that onto your chart. I've got this on the pound daily chart, and it's just going to bring that up. So I'm just going to go through the inputs now, because this is where this indicator starts to get really interesting. Very simply, I've got some standard stuff. Your magic number, which is really important. It needs to be different from any other EA that you might be running on your computer. So simple way to do that is just to put the today's date, something like that, the day that you installed it, and that just keeps it, as long as you do one a day, you'll always have that difference. So it needs to be different for every robot that you have. It's okay to be the same for different symbols, different currency pairs, but it needs to be different for different EAs that you have. So make sure you put a unique one in there. We've got trade on new bar set to true. That just means it's only going to trade when a bar closes, a new one opens. That stops any weird things happening as the moving averages are developing through the bar. You've got your standard Ichimoku input settings at 9, 26, and 52, and these you can play around with, see what you like. I've also got Chiku. That's taken usually from the Kijun period in the MT4 terminal, but you can change that with this EA because it uses a separate algorithm. And now we get onto the money management. So when people normally talk about indicators and EAs, they love the technical stuff. What period do you use? What moving average is it using? That kind of stuff. But I really think that a lot of time and effort should be put into your money management. And one thing, if you do watch the No Nonsense Forex view or the video on the Ichimoku Kinko Ohio, you will see that he talks about only using a half risk when the crossover happens within the cloud, and that's exactly what you can set up here. So you want to have money management set to true, and then you've got here the percentages for of your account balance to use on each trade. So here you can see when you get a crossover that is above the cloud, so you get a long crossover, so it's a bullish trade, and you're already above the Kumo cloud, you're going to put 2%. If you get a long crossover and you're within the cloud, which is shows a bit more indecision, I've put here 1%, which is half risk. And then here I've got, if you get a long crossover and you're below the cloud, I've put here 0.5%, which is a quarter of the first one. And you could also put that to 0, and that would be exactly how the No Nonsense video sets it up. Again, you've got your short trades above the cloud, within the cloud, and below the cloud. So you can set your risk to match how confident that trade is going to work. If you're above the cloud and there's a long-term trend going up, you may feel that that's a more likely trade to win in the end. And this goes back to, and I'll put another link as well, do check out the OGT Confluence trading video where he talks about trading with different sizes and how that can make you even more profitable than just a standard size. If you don't use the money management thing, there is a fixed lot size which will just use. So if you set that to false, set your fixed lot size, and it will just use that, and it works like a standard Ichimoku EA. I've also got in here the Chiku filter. So basically what this one does is a multiplier for if the Chiku agrees with your trade or not. So if you're taking a long trade, for instance, you want the historic price to be low where you are now, and that shows positive upward momentum with you. If that is the case, 26 periods ago in the instance I've got set up here, then the Chiku will not affect your percentages in any way. But if it doesn't agree, in this instance, it's going to multiply your percentage of 2%, let's say, by 0, and that will eliminate that trade. Now, perhaps you might say, if the Chiku doesn't agree, I want 0.5%. I only want half. I'm only half as confident as I was before now because I don't have that momentum. So I'm going to halve all of these percentages there. You could set it as 0.9. So you can say, I'm just going to reduce it a little bit. And if you set it to 1, the Chiku filter will have no effect because it was just going to multiply all of these by 1 and therefore equal exactly the same as before. So if you want it to have no effect, set it to 0. And if you want it to have full effect, if you want it to have no effect, set it to 1, sorry. And if you want it to have absolutely no effect, I'm getting myself confused here. If you want it to have no effect, set it to 1. And if you want it to have full effect, set it to 0. It's a little bit confusing for me, and I will put in a little note in the input so you don't get as confused as I did doing that. What we've also got here, which is really cool, you get your standard stop loss and take profit. These are set up in points because different brokers use 4 and 5 pip, 3 and 2 pip. It's a lot easier if you just start to work with points, because then you can set it up in your own terminal. And I've also got here something that you can use is you can actually set your take profit and your stop loss based on the volatility, which is using the ATR indicator. And if you set this, if you set these numbers to anything other than 0, it won't use these stop loss and take profits. It's going to use the multiplier instead. And what that basically means is if you've got an ATR, let's say of 50 pips, and you set this to 1, it's going to set your stop loss to 50 pips. If you set it to 2, it's going to set your stop loss to 100 pips. And the take profit works in exactly the same way. You've got a trailing stop here, which you can set in points if you so wish. I tend not to use those. And you've also got break even stop, again, all set in points, and I tend not to use those. And lastly is where you maybe not so important on a daily chart like I've got here, but you can also use a timer, so the trades will only open within a certain time. So if you're in a lower time frame, maybe you only want to open in the London Open, the New York Open, something like that, you can use those there. So I hope that makes sense. Apologies for getting a little bit confused with the Chiku filter. I'm going to put a little few notes in there on the indicator so that's really clear. But you know, the real difference in this EA is in the money management, and that's what I really encourage you to play around with. Okay, so you click OK, and that's going to put it on your chart, and you can see I've got an unhappy face here, and that's because I've got auto trading turned off. I'm going to turn that on, and then I also need to go onto the Expert Advisor, properties, and you need to go on here, allow live trading as well, is another reason why that won't work. So if you click on that, you can see an alert saying my magic number has changed, but that's just because I've started, and a smiley face, which means my Expert Advisor is running. I'm just going to take that off now, because now what I want to show you is how to do simple backtests with this EA. So in order to do a simple backtest, we want to go to View and go to the Strategy Tester. So we're going to open that up, and you can see that down here. And the Strategy Tester is where you can do your backtesting with historical data. Now, just make that a little bit bigger so you can see all the settings. So we want to go in the drop down and select our indicator. We're going to use, let's stick with the pound dollar, and we're going to have it every tick, and let's use the date. So we'll go from the 21st of November 2019. Excuse me. My date's the wrong way around. So set up the dates there. I'm going to put visual mode on so you can see what that's doing. I'm just going to put it to 31, which is the fastest it will go without going absolutely crazy, just to start with. Put it on the daily because I think that trend trading works best on the daily. And I'm going to put the spread to 10 points, which is pretty average for the GU on a decent broker. So I'm going to set up my properties now. Initial deposit, let's say, of 10,000. And I'm going to, for the first one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the money management settings off to false and just leave it at 0.1. I'm going to put it at the smallest size. So let's leave it at 0. We'll do 0.05, let's say. So we've got that. I'm just going to leave all the other settings as standard. I'll put the Chiku filter, let's say, at half. So we've got a half confidence with that. And I'm also going to use the ATR. So I'm going to use a take profit of 1, a stop loss of 1, and a take profit of 2. Because I'm trend trading, I want to win more than lose. I don't know if these are going to work, but I'm just going to show you how this can be done. So I've got those settings up. Now, before you start and you get carried away, one thing you've got to do is make sure you've got history, you've got data to test your system on. So to get history data, I'm going to go over to my history center, which is a tools history center. I'm going to go to the pound, and you can see here at the moment on my M1, I've got data going back to 1993, which is great, and that's a lot of records. Now, if you need that, what you have to do, If you haven't got that and it's grey like one of these, is go there and double click it. And check how far back in time you want to go, because if you don't go back far enough, you won't be able to backtest it. So if you can, you want to go at least to when the start period of when your backtest is planning to be, and you probably your broker won't give you that much history. You have to use the MetaQuotes information. So, but it's a good way to backtest for now. So we do that. You double click that, and if you don't go back far enough with your broker stuff, click download and click through the screens, and it will download. If you don't get enough records, if you still don't go far back enough, one thing you have to check is if you go to tools and options, and if you go to where it says charts, you want to make sure that you've got enough bars in charts. You can see here I've got 10 million, I think, here, and 10 million here. Make sure they're reasonably large numbers, about 10 million, and then change it and restart your terminal. Go back into your history center, and you should have then downloaded. You can see I've got 7 million records, which is great, plenty of data to backtest with. And then I'm going to go through and I'm going to calculate that data by double clicking on them all the way through from the minute. So it's going to use the minute one to calculate the open, close, high and low on all the higher time frames, which is great. Hit close. Now I've got my history data. So once you've got everything set up in your history center, you can then get going with your backtest. So I've got this up in visual mode, and you'll see it run through. It'll be a little slower. If you take visual mode off, you will see it happen a lot quicker. Well, you won't see it at all, but you'll get the result a lot quicker. So we'll click that. It's going to open a new chart, visual chart, show you what's going on, and click play here, and it's going to start zooming through. And you can see straight away it starts to take trades. And obviously you can see it's opened a new chart with a blank template, which is kind of annoying. It's taking my indicator off, so I'm going to drop that on there so you can see what's going on. And in fact, what I would do, just while I was doing this, you can see a bit clearer. I'm just going to get rid of, change these lines to black, just so you can only see the main crossover. And you see, because that's the main entry signal for the trade, you can see when they cross over, you are good to go. So you see in this one, I've got my top take profit of 2 times the ATR, and my stop loss at 1 times the ATR. So you see I'm asking for a bigger profit, and we'll see, and we see how we go. So we've got some trades here. I'm now going to skip this, stop it here, and I'm just going to turn it off visual mode and run through so we can see what the results are with that test, because it'll be much faster to do it like that. So you can see here, this is the full length, the full year, trading with 0.05 lots on a 10 grand account, and you can see it had some wins, it had some decent sized drawdowns, and it had some good trades as well. And in the end, at the end of the year, we finished at, and we look at the report here, with a net profit of 154 pounds or dollars, 1.5%, nothing to write home about, 1.32 profit factor, which is not too bad, and a max drawdown of 4%, which is quite high compared to what we ended up. But remember here we used the fixed lot size. We didn't use our money management. So as a bit of an experiment, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to change that to true, just to show what I think the power of good money management is. So before, none of this had any effect. I've set that to true, and now let's run that again and see what happens. So it's running through exactly the same time period again, the same settings, but we've changed the money management settings. And let's have a look how that affected the chart. So you can see now how this has affected the chart. We've gone from a system that would have been really, really profitable, really, really hard to trade, to being one that's actually, I mean, that's pretty good, to be fair. Got a nice diagonal upward and to the right, with some periods of some bad trades in there, but generally we're going up. Let's have a look at the report here. So we finish with a net profit of 14.10, and that's about 14% on there, trading with 2%. a maximum of 2% risk, but the risk varies through there. We've got a profit factor of 4.59, which is really, really high. And obviously we've only taken 13 trades, so you can't really take this. You would need to do this on a daily time frame over a much longer period, but I just wanted to show over the last year on the pound what this would do. I have done this on the euro. I didn't know what this was going to do on the pound. And it's interesting, I got the exact same, well, not the exact same result, but a similar result where the money management plays a massive, massive factor in how this did. And you can see we got 14% with a maximal drawdown of just 5%. That is really, really good. In my opinion. Obviously, I've got here modeling quality of 90%. I know a lot of people like to have really, really high modeling qualities and all that kind of good stuff. And also I've got some errors. So there might be smaller things, but because I'm trading on the daily time frame, because I'm not scalping, in my opinion, it's not going to have as big a factor as if it was trading something lower. And I'd rather spend more time developing my EAs than worrying about super, super tight data at this stage. I think when you get to trading live anyway, you'll have loads more challenges. So you don't want to perfect your backtest, but it is worthwhile spending a bit of time on your data. But for now, this will do for me. And you can just see on the graph there again, the power of money management in your EAs. So do not neglect that when you're developing your EAs. Do not just stick to your simple 2% on every trade. Have a bit of confluence, have a bit of confidence level with each trade, and that can really transform a bad system into a profitable one. So just going to finish off the video with a few health warnings, because maybe you like the looks of those of that back test and you think I'm going to chuck this on with all my money and tomorrow. Please do not do that. So you need to understand the risks of trading with expert advisors, and I think the two primary risks that you need to be aware of. The first risk is that you cannot trade your backtest. One of the worst things you see with trading educators and people on the internet selling you stuff is that they show you stuff on the left-hand side of the chart and it looks brilliant, but you can never trade the left-hand side of the chart. You can only trade the right. So you've got to be really, really careful with this, and this counts for your backtest too. You might have a history that looks fantastic, but the future is unknown. Even if you've done a really, really good process of testing rigorously so you don't curve fit, you might be unlucky. You might start off straight in your worst drawdown you'll ever experience. You've got no idea whether that's going to happen. So do be careful when you do that, and don't put all your money and I would start on demo. Definitely always start on demo with any EA. Do not over optimize. Can't say this enough. MT4 has got and MT5 is even better for this. Really, really good tools for optimizing, but it's a big reason why expert advisor algo traders fail. You curve fit your algorithm, your system to the history, to the left side of the chart is absolutely useless on the right hand side. So you need to focus on robustness of your strategy. And a real good thing to this, I'm going to do a video on good processes for backtesting your EAs, but for now, just one thing is try and keep a portion of your data that is unoptimized and use that for your final test before you start training a system. So as an example, do your optimization on a section of your history, let's say 2010 to 2007, and then keep a portion 2007 to 2012, let's say 2010 to 2017, 2017 to 2020, let's say, excuse me, getting my dates mixed up, but keep 3 years, let's say, of data unoptimized. Now the key with that is you only get one shot at it. If you get really comfortable with your optimization in the 2010 to 17, let's say, once you start using that 3 years, if it doesn't work, you have to bin the EA, because you cannot optimize on that last 3 years, because you'll be just back where you started with over optimizing. So use that unoptimized out of sample data as if it's live data. Don't optimize on it. And also focus on robustness. If you've got settings that work at 30 but at 29 and 31 they're absolutely useless, it tells you you've probably got curve fit settings. So you want a broad settings that work. You're not going for perfection on that. It needs to be robust. Be really wary of trade costs. MT4 is not great for modeling trade costs. Spread in particular varies through the day. It's the worst at New York close. So do be careful of that. And do not underestimate that as well if you're doing this seriously, because it does have a big effect. And the biggest thing I'd say is you've got to test on demo first and make your own decisions about going live. And if you do go live, you do it on your make your own decision, have your own confidence in it, because if you're trading what somebody else tells you to trade, as soon as you hit a drawdown, you'll bail out because you do not trust other people. You've got to have confidence in yourself and your own test in your own system. So go live. If you do go live, make your own decision about it and start small. The second thing is all software can have bugs. I'm only human. I make mistakes. I do my best, and you'll find this with all software. So you've got to be really careful with any software. And be aware that the EA you trade might have mistakes in it. So, if you're putting your own money in, you've got to be really careful about that. So again, start on the demo, root out those errors, or get some confidence in your system before you do anything else. If you do find any bugs, I hope there aren't any bugs in this EA, but if you do find any, put some in the comments or head on to the Toolkit for Traders forum. There'll be a forum post for this EA, which is a really handy way for me to organize any bugs and everything that I need to sort out. I'd say learn to read your journal as well. Try and understand a bit about the error messages that you get in your terminal, because that will help identify where those errors are coming from. Quite a lot of errors with EAs come from your broker or from the terminal computer you're using. So you just got to be careful about that. Not everything's in the EA. And as again, I say, test on demo first and get your own confidence to make your own decision, or seek advice. Do not trade because somebody else told you to. Do not risk your own money because somebody told you to. Start small and make your own decision. Have your own confidence. It's the only way this will work. So that's all for today. I just want to put another date for the diary, holding myself to account again. I'm going to put in another EA on the channel on the 20th of January 2021. It's a totally different one, something that took some inspiration from the One Glance Trader YouTube channel. So if you like OGT, you're going to love this EA. So make sure you click subscribe and click the bell so you get notified when that comes up. If you have any questions, again, just that's a picture of me. Hello. Drop it in the comment section below. Building the conversation really helps me out, understand what people like and what they don't like, and what's going on. And also head to the forum. People are really starting to chat on there. It's really great to do. It's a wholesome, happy place, no negativity. It's just positive. It's all free. We're on this journey together. And lastly, if you like this video, it really helps me out if you would like and subscribe to the channel and put some comments below. Even if you're just saying thanks for the vid, that's really helpful. It helps the YouTube algorithm and it helps me out. So do put something down there. That's really great. Really encourages me to do more videos. And that's everything I've got for you today on the Ichimoku Kinko Hyo EA, and another video from Toolkit for Traders. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll speak to you all soon. Keep well.